Hey everybody, Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we're reviewing Dark Winds. It's season 4, and we're on episode 7. We have one more left. The title of this is We Came Back.
And the way that I would translate that is We Came Back to Trash, because the show has now reverted back to being trash. And this is what actually frequently happens in this series and a lot of other bad modern TV shows, is that there will be these really good moments or these sprinkles of, oh wow, this is actually pretty good. And then all of a sudden, it'll go back to being terrible. And then it's just like, oh, I fell for it again. You know, you could say it like you had the Fell For It Again award. And one of the issues I'm having, which I've discussed with Safi about, is that it's really hard to judge the show because, you know, Safi's supposed to know the books, and she says that there's nothing in the show that's in this book that it's based on, and so that begs the question of what was the thought process that went into making this, and why did they not even attempt to make it like the book? You know, the books that the show is based on, like, what are they doing here? And so, what do you think, Safi?
Okay, well, I'll go back and look at the book once again, because the McNair name sounds kind of familiar to me, but the thing is, you've got this whole backstory, which you're kind of picking it up in little floods of information about the German woman. That whole story with her grandpa, and he's got some kind of Alzheimer's, and he still thinks it's World War II, and they're still fighting.
Yeah.
And she tells him no, they lost.
Well, see, there's a detail in there that I don't think that Safi realized, and this is what I'm interpreting, is that he calls her a different name. And she says, no, I'm this. And she corrects him, and what I think is that he's calling her mother's name. And so he thinks that she's his wife. And he doesn't even realize that that's his daughter.
Yeah, but she calls him grandpa.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Or whatever.
I have to watch that part again, but I really think that's her grandpa.
But what? No, I know that. Okay, or whatever she is. But like, what would the deal be with the two names? There has to be something more to that.
Well, that could be his wife. I mean, that he thinks that's his wife.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That he thinks he's younger.
That's what I'm saying.
She's really his granddaughter.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, and I guess, or that's the. I can't imagine. She's a cold-blooded killer. I agree, but I don't think she's as screwed up as he is, and in the way he is. God, I just don't know. Maybe I have to think about it. But regardless, all of that is not in the book.
Not in the book.
At all. There is a male killer.
Yeah.
A male, like a hitman.
Okay.
And a Navajo old man who was at a laundromat came out, and he saw the serial killer or the hitman kill somebody else, and I think it was an FBI agent, which that does happen in the show, and I think the guy he killed, and the old man witnessed it, and then the guy went away, but then he realized he's got to get the Navajo guy. He has to get him before he tells on him. He could identify him. But other than that, all this stuff with
Billy and Leroy and all that,
we've already
McNair.
seen in a previous season.
Yeah.
there was missing teenagers, or a missing, I thought there was two, missing teenage boys.
Or they were dead boys.
Right.
They were dead.
They were already dead. But
they were murdered.
They were murdered, and so...
And it was the archaeologist that covered it up.
Right.
And then in this, now you have a teenage girl runaway is basically what the whole season is about. But she's to get to this other guy, and we're going to have to go through... Or, Safi's having some kind of allergy issues, but, I am gladly able to go through why this is so trash, because this episode, it feels like it has taken everything that was interesting about the season and has just thrown it up in the air like a pizza dough. And then it goes on the floor. That's what Safi likes to say. She's like, okay, they took this all up and they threw it on the floor.
Well, we saw this MasterChef episode,
yeah.
And I just will never forget it. In fact, I'd like to even go back and watch it because it freaked me out. Because this was something... I'm thinking about it now, and it just freaks me out. They had a chef there from Chicago. Now this was before COVID, so, COVID kind of screwed things up for a lot of people in their businesses. But he had a very expensive restaurant in Chicago. You had to pay a certain fee to have this special meal. I mean, it was like $400. And the things that they experimented with on MasterChef was... They threw food up in the air, and then how it landed on the table, they ate it.
You smashed it open, and like there's powder, there's like powders and dirts on the table, and you smash these balls open, and it's like, oh look, there's dinner.
And didn't they do this like several different times or something?
I think they tried different foods or something.
They did multiple. Didn't the contestants, didn't they have to make?
Yeah, they had to make something like that, be inspired.
In a miniature version, not as extensive, but there was a long table, and he was showing them, and everything was thrown up in the air, and I'm like, what the hell kind of cooking is that? I thought it was weird. And they would charge people $400 or something to have a meal that was thrown up in the air and landing on the table.
Well, I'm just glad that I didn't pay to watch Dark Winds season 4, because I would be very upset about spending money on that.
Well, I'm not upset about it, but it's strange.
So getting into this episode, I expected some more cringeworthy scenes with Emma, which there are 2 scenes with her. Again, they're just total cringe. But then everything else about last episode is completely undone. Like any hint that like there was redemption or hope for this season is gone now. And I mean, there is a funny little part though. I'm surprised that Safi didn't mention it. There's a part where we'll get into the episode, but there's a part where Joe is talking to Jim, and Jim is saying that McNair might be able to recommend him for a job if things don't work out on the res, like as if it's hinting that now Jim is going to leave town so he can join the FBI again. Like he's basically
threatened to do that, didn't he?
Who?
Didn't he threaten to do that? I mean, kind of a light threat.
That's what I just said. He said if things don't work out on the res, then he can just help me rejoin the FBI again. And I thought, that's actually, again, Jim Chi is like the best thing about this season, because that is such a great line after, Emanuelita, she did the same thing. She said, well, I'm not getting promoted here, so I'm going to go elsewhere where, I can be in charge of everything.
It's true.
And so, why isn't Jim Chi allowed to do that, though? So I like that. I thought that was hilarious. And Joe was like, I was right about you. Even though he's stupid as hell. I mean, Joe Sleephorn has to be the stupidest character on the entire show. And he continues to be trash. He continues to be stupid. And so, let's get into the crappy episode.
Okay, well,
are you with us,
we'll
Safi?
talk about Jim Chi because
his
Marco's
whole
already,
story. Yeah.
Marco, he wants to go. Now he's been recovering, and which he was told to do because he really was ill. He had an infection. They had to give him medicine for it. But he also has a psychological illness, and he confesses to Manuelita, and this is where we hear this for the first time too, which I don't know if this happened. It doesn't matter really, but they made his backstory was that he was in California, and his mother had cancer, and he was at Berkeley or UCLA or whatever, and he was in his junior year, and she wanted to go back. She was sick, she was dying, she wanted to go back to the reservation, but he wouldn't take her because he didn't want to go there, and he didn't think that anybody there cared about her either, so he couldn't really allow her to go because she'd be all alone. And he didn't realize that it wouldn't be the case, that the people there would help her. I mean, they have clans. Navajos belong to different clans. And they would at least have people in their clan help her.
They would have come over all the time. They would have brought her soup. They would have brought her some fucking chicken pot pie and shit. And, like, that is, like, the stupidest origin story ever. And it's also hilarious because after all this bullshit where Joe Sleephorn says that he shouldn't be allowed to take over because he's too spiritual, and it's like, well, why would that be? Why doesn't he ponder, like, why that would be? And it's not even the case. Like, his whole origin story is that he didn't want anything to do with that kind of stuff.
No,
and
he didn't want to go back to the reservation.
So what is the deal with that line in episode 1 and that excuse?
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't go with anything.
It's complete. I mean, this is how bad the show is. The writers are so bad. They can't even write consistent with the characters. They're not. They probably don't even know what each other are writing. What each other's writing.
Well, like I said, in the books, he is a spiritual. He is trying to learn these different ceremonies, and
there's nothing wrong with that either.
I think he has a relative or a person who's elderly who is probably not going to be able to do these ceremonies much longer. And he's probably going to be taking over or have a larger part in doing ceremonies. But you have to train. And you have to go with the person to their ceremonies and watch how they do everything. And then you do it on your own. And he did that in the books, all throughout the books. So when Joe Sleephorn says that, in this kind of framework, it isn't the case at all.
Yeah, now it makes even less sense because he has this origin story, and there's it's all none of that complete. It's just totally weird. And another thing is the fact that it's kind of religious discrimination. I mean, it would be the equivalent of like, oh well, I'm not going to let him take over because he's too much of a Christian, or he believes in Mormonism too much. He's too much of a Mormon. Like, you couldn't do that. You can't do that. Like, that's not okay to do.
That would be discrimination.
That would be discrimination, and yet on this show, they're saying that Jim Chi should not be allowed to take over, and we know it's because he's a man and Emanuelita is a woman, but they're not going to say that out loud. But they're saying he can't take over because he's too religious. It's so ironic because they're the police on the reservation. Like, why the hell would he not be religious? Why the hell would he not be connected to the culture? And that's the reason. And Emanuelita should be in charge because she doesn't really care about any of that.
But that's not true. She does care about it.
But no, that's what Joe is saying. Because otherwise, well, then why is Emanuelita qualified to take over when she's the one who left for the Border Patrol?
I know. I agree.
It's so dumb.
But anyway, he is. Emma brought it up last time that he has this ghost sickness, and it is because their beliefs are so strong about the being in a death hogan. Because after somebody dies, you have to knock out that wall, and you can't be in there, because the chindi, the spirit, will get you. It will take over you, or whatever, or affect you somehow, haunt you. And he is haunted, but it's probably because he feels guilty about his mom, because his mom died, and he's been having hallucinations about her.
So they actually do this thing where after most of the episode has happened, they all go back to the reservation, and it's the same thing where they just magically appear back on the reservation like it's a video game.
Yeah, they don't show anything about them. In fact, you assume, because they all have their uniforms on.
Yeah.
And they show the reservation scenery.
Jim visits the old healer or woman, whatever she is, the one who's been in every season.
And she's a Navajo.
And she is going to arrange for his special ceremony to get rid of his ghost sickness. And they basically show that, I guess, that Emanuelita and him have kind of mended whatever, they're not unhappy with each other anymore. And it's like, wow, that was so unnecessary, all that stupid drama this whole season of like that stupid it was totally unnecessary. And then you have the fact that, like, well, wait, the drama really isn't over, because they still haven't really answered the question, who is going to take over and why.
Well, they've been showing scenes from not scenes, I should say pictures of the next season, and they still have Joe dressed up in his uniform.
I mean, next episode?
No, the next season.
Where did you see that?
On Facebook.
You sure?
I thought I sent it to you.
Season 5?
Yep.
Oh.
Because they are coming back next season.
Oh, wow.
They reconciled in the hospital, and see, Jim told her all the stuff about his mother, and he says, I'm not really the person you thought I was, in different words. And she said, no, that's just not true, because he felt responsible. Billy gets...
Oh, well, no, don't get to that yet, because that is the greatest part, because Jim Chi, he is so much better than all the other characters, because even though he's sick in the whatever you call it, the health center, he has this infection he's getting over, he's having hallucinations, and all this stuff, even with all that stuff, his main concern is this teenage girl. And meanwhile, Emanuelita is just kind of there. She's like window dressing in this season, which, thank God, honestly, because last season that was really bad. And then Joe, all he cares about is Emma and what she wants him to do, and he's like her little lapdog, because that's modern writing, modern feminism, modern characters. And so, but we'll get to that, because it's so ironic. After all that happens, Jim Chi is the only one who's like genuinely upset about what happened. He's the only one out of the three who's actually like, oh my God, I should have been there. I should have done something. And when the other two should have been the ones showing like a tremendous amount of, remorse, whatever. But you'll understand that more when we get to that, because it's pretty hilarious. So, go ahead, Sophie.
Well, so I don't know where you want me to start, but anyway.
The beginning?
So they reconcile in the hospital.
We're done with
and
that.
And you don't see Jim anymore until they go back to the reservation.
We're done with Jim's story now.
We're continuing because Billy is still missing. Well, Billy is with this girl who's Leroy's girlfriend. And she's probably about the same age, or maybe a few years older. And she takes her to, I guess she thought she was going to Leroy's house, but it's really her mom's house.
Yeah.
Her mom is a drug addict, but I mean, she's a recovering drug addict. And so they reconcile, but of course there was some back and forth and non-trust issues because she was never there. She's 16, and it doesn't sound like she was ever there for her.
No offense, Safi.
What?
No offense, but that was more soap opera drama bullshit that I just did not care about at all.
I don't think I don't even know. The only thing is they showed her character because that came into play in the twist in the end. Joe recognizing something.
I guess so.
Well, he said, you got the two women, which was her, the mother, and the grandma, who just died 5 months ago. You got them mixed up. How could that happen if you really knew who they were?
Well, plot conveniences.
That's the only thing I can think of.
I'm just saying that whole scene and the whole... I mean, I guess it's necessary, but like, I just don't care about it at all.
Well,
I'm sorry, but like, that's not what I'm watching the show for. And they continuously, it's like every single episode they have a quota for like, oh, we have to have some soap opera scene, we have to have a scene, and this episode in particular, all the characters had their little emotional scenes. It kind of reminded me of Better Call Saul, where you would know, like, oh, this is the episode where they're going to have the big talk. They're going to have the big drama scene, and they're going to fight with each other or cry or something. And it's like, oh, here we go. Like Waterworks.
Well, it didn't really mean much to me.
Well, yeah, that's why I didn't like it, is because none of the stuff in this episode that was quote-unquote emotional, none of it was emotional at all. You can't have emotional stuff with 8 episodes, and you can't have emotional stuff with characters that you really don't care about very much, or stories that you don't really care about. I mean, there was no moment in this episode that justified any kind of like, but it's like they were trying to force that. It's like they were trying to say, like, see, this Dark Winds can be a deep show too.
Well, so anyway, she has to go to work. She leaves. But in the meantime, there's a spy watching this house.
Yeah.
For the German woman. And he was told to say if this girl, the girlfriend, if she showed up, and then he called the German woman and said, that girl's here, and she brought another girl with her. So the German woman, whose name officially, according to the FBI agent, her name is Irene Vaughan.
Yeah.
So.
But her grandfather calls her Lydia, and that's why I was saying, oh, he thinks that she's someone else.
It's, who we're not totally sure, but anyway. So, of course, German woman comes there, and then she's walking around the house. The girl she already knows the woman's there,
yeah.
And she's hiding. And, of course, who comes? Joe
Sleephorn,
Manuelita,
and McNair, And
No,
not
no, no.
McNair.
The FBI agent.
The mustache guy.
His name is. I don't know what his name
I
is.
said that the main villain came.
And they're all in there.
That'd be
and of course,
hilarious.
they're
No, I will say this
late.
because you know, after I saw Safi watching this, and after this whole sequence concluded, the one thing she said, and this is what she should have said at the very beginning, they could have done that better. Because I thought too, it was so lame, and it was so anticlimactic. It was so bad. It was so badly thought out, and it was just so quiet. And I thought it was a super anticlimactic thing because I thought this is Billy's chance to shine. I thought it would have been super cool for her to actually be able to fight back in some way. Like, oh, this isn't just some teenage girl. Like, I mean, she's just a teenage girl, but, like, she can do something. You know, like, it was so silly how, like, the German woman, you know, I mean, this is a woman. This is a German woman. Just because she's, like, a hitman, she's an assassin, that doesn't make it to where she's, like, this superhuman person, and she can just overpower anyone. It's, like, realistically, it wouldn't be that that perfect for her.
She even stabbed the FBI guy. Now I thought for a moment I thought he was dead, but he's fine, and I think he's injured, of course, but I think they're saving him. They want him to come back.
Yeah, she stabs him in the shoulder. So.
But anyway. She manages to overpower Billy and make her get in the car. And Billy did. She was shooting at Joe Leaphorn, and Billy did fight her with the gun to keep her from hurting him.
Yeah, and then
she did do that.
There is a funny moment where Joe rolls around on the ground. He does a dodge. He does a rolling dodge so that he can dodge her bullets, and then he shoots at her. He fails, and I thought it was so bad how him and Emanuelita couldn't do anything. Like, they couldn't. Oh my God, it's so hard to go after this one German woman in a car. You know, like it would be so hard. And like, are you serious? Like. It's so silly.
Well, I was shocked that I guess we'll see how it plays out.
Okay.
We were trying to see what's going to happen, but
it played out here.
I was shocked that they didn't they couldn't overpower her at least that Billy didn't escape, or they could get Billy away from her.
Yeah.
That it was so easy. It was. I know that's like tongue-in-cheek. It wasn't totally easy, but it was too easy, I think, that she was taken.
And Joe tries to get her. He does the most, like, you know how sometimes they have like a meme where like it's like the "at least you tried" award or something. Like, Joe runs into this field alongside the road.
I thought that was just.
He's running alongside the car as if it's like Forrest Gump or something. It's like, run, Joe, run! And it's like, what does he think he's gonna do? And then she's looking at him like, are you stupid? You know, the German woman. She's like, oh my God! Like, I think it would have actually been good if she was like, oh, wait a second. I'm in love with a total idiot. And then all of a sudden she just speeds away, and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe that didn't work. You know, my strategy, running alongside a 1970s car while I'm in my 70s,
He's not in the 70s.
He's not?
No.
The character acts like it.
No. Well, anyway, so, and then they don't show Billy for the rest of the time. And you kind of, everybody assumes that she's been killed.
Yeah, everyone. And they don't show it, which is a big red flag. And I will speculate as to why I think she's alive.
Well, Okay, I think she's alive because the woman, even though she's not sick like her grandpa, she does have, I think, a mental problem, and she is obsessed with Joe. That's just the truth, which is straight. You can't believe it, but she is.
It's very silly.
Yeah, and so anyway, what happens is we don't see Billy anymore, but we see the German woman go back to her lair. I just want calling it
It's
that.
her
I
lair.
don't know what else to call it.
It's their evil lair.
And she sees that somebody ate a TV dinner
Yeah.
at the table. And she's like, who is this? And then she realizes her grandpa must have broken out of his assisted living place. And
Yeah, because earlier in the episode, she took him there and dropped him off, as Safi was saying, and now she finds him just walking down the road, and I guess Safi thinks that it's because she needed to, quench her thirst to kill, but I thought she just thought he was too far gone.
it could be a
So-
little of both.
Okay, because she runs him over.
And-
Safi liked that, I guess.
Well, I couldn't believe it.
You like that? I thought that was stupid as hell. Like, what was the whole point of his character? Like, what was the whole point of that story? The whole season, I guess, just to
That
add
was
character.
bizarre. Well, I don't know. You're showing a character.
It's so dumb.
He's insane because he has Alzheimer's plus something, and she's his hired killer. So but she's obsessed with Joe.
Yeah.
So it's just bizarre.
What'd you say, Safi? The audience can't hear you.
I have to get more.
Okay, well, go ahead. What should we talk about next? Oh, I
Well,
guess we should say, this is where I
the
think...
bad thing, the cringy thing.
Give me your notebook. Oh, wait. No, keep your notebook there. Just,
Well,
whatever.
I got it in there.
No, it's okay. I have a memory.
Oh, the quote is right there.
Safi said, "Oh, you do?" But this is what I was saying, where Jim Chi wasn't even there to save Billy or to help Billy, and so I found it to be totally ironic that he was the only one of the trio that was genuinely upset about Billy being taken and possibly killed. Emanuelita and Joe both didn't really seem to care that much. They didn't really act like it was a big thing. They were just like, yeah, she's probably dead. Like, they even have a little scene where they're literally like, yeah, she's probably dead. She doesn't have any use for her anymore. She won't have any use for her.
Well, they don't show her anymore, and that was weird.
So then the cringe scene. There was one cringe scene at the beginning with Emma. At the beginning of the episode, Joe says that he wants to stay with her and protect her. And Emma says, "Joe, there's a teenage girl out there." And so then Joe just runs off and goes, because that's what Joe has turned into. He is Emma's lapdog, which, if the bitch isn't going to stay on the reservation, she's his wife. If she's not going to stay with him, then she has no fucking right to tell him what to do. Go off and do what I want you to do. Like, fuck you. You went to California so you could be a doctor, you dumb bitch. And so he goes off and does that. And then he comes back to have a heart-to-heart with Emma. And I know that the writers were sniffing their own you-know-whats when they were writing this episode, because they thought this scene was so amazingly emotional and incredible. And she basically says, like, "Joe, I'm really proud of you. You have earned a gold star, but I have made a choice now. I am in California, and that's just how it is. And so, yeah, I might come back to the reservation." Like, she's fucking married to him. Like, what a bitch.
Well,
So
she says, right now,
yeah.
my life is here.
Right now, my life is in California because I'm an idiot. It's like, screw this character. Screw her. And Safi has even said before the review, she's having a nervous breakdown now with her water.
No, I'm just, never mind.
Well, you even said that was totally out of character, and that's what I thought. Yet again, we had another episode with an out of character, cringeworthy scene with her, and I just, again, like, I don't know what the writers were thinking with that whole story.
Okay, well, the thing is, back in the 70s, but it just would not, I don't think, I just don't believe that it would have affected her. Because she's Navajo, she loves being on the reservation, and she helps people there too, her own people. Well, she does help Native Americans of all stripes there, different ethnic groups. But the thing is, the thing she said, it was kind of like what women in the 70s, like that's where I was in my 20s. That's the burning the bra and women's liberation and the abortion constitutional amendment.
Let us wear men's clothes.
That's Annie Hall, and that was later anyway.
Annie Hall.
And so it was a women's movement. Marco's seen a few movies where they talk about it. So I mean, and it was in the period in which they were made is when they were talking about it. So anyway,
yeah, I've suffered.
For her to be wrapped up in that, I just don't believe it.
Yeah,
it's very antithetical. But the thing is,
it's modern writing.
In the framework of the book, like I said, she gets sick, and she doesn't really play a big part in the book. She's deteriorating, meaning she's becoming more forgetful. They think she has Alzheimer's, and they're preparing to go to the doctor to have her evaluated, and they're prepared to find out it's Alzheimer's and what they're going to have to do, what she's going to be like, etc., etc. And so, but she has a brain tumor, and so they talk about her less and less, and finally, at some point, she passes away. And I think in this story, because they kind of
modernized
it,
everything.
But the thing is, it doesn't fit with the...
No.
I don't think it fits with the culture, but...
I think what really sucks about it is that they could have done anything. They could have done anything with her character, and they chose to... I mean, she was fine in the first 2 seasons, I guess. But then in season 3, she's mad at him the whole season. Totally unreasonable. And then she just leaves, and then she is in California now. All of that is bad. So I think that it's one of the biggest... Like, if I was a fan of the books, that would be one of the biggest issues that I have, because even though I don't like the fact she got a brain tumor in the books. I think that's kind of dumb. But it's kind of like overly depressing. But
well, she's not a nurse in the book. Yeah. All that stuff about her wanting to be a doctor.
They could have done something better, honestly.
They didn't. That didn't happen. So anyway, I think what they're doing, and it could be that they'll change their minds, because they do have lots of wiggle room to change, but maybe not in this season.
I think what could have been really cool, in a very like fan servicey way, is if they could go back with a time machine. She would just be a housewife, and she would, be in the background, the whole series. And then at the very end, when Joe retires, she could start writing a book series based on all the cases that Joe has gone through and talked to her about. And I think that would have been pretty cool. That'd be like a fun little thing. It'd be a lot better than what they've done now.
Well, I'm not entirely sure, but I think she passes away before Ann Hillerman starts writing the books.
Oh.
So Tony Hillerman passes away. And so does Emma, but early, not in the middle of his writing the series. And but I think they're going to make her. She's going to stay there in L.A., and that is the way.
Ugh.
In this writing, she's going to be out of his life.
Ugh.
Not because she passes away,
Ugh.
but because she's living there.
Ugh.
I could be wrong, but I think that's what they're going to do.
That's so
And
bad.
they can always change their mind.
I hate it.
And she decides to come home.
I want to go back to seasons 1 and 2.
Well, I just don't believe it that she would be happy there. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. I
It's
think
modern
very-
feminism shit. It's like men have to go their own way and women have to go their
But
own
that's-
way.
that's not
That's
back then.
modern feminism.
And I don't even know. Of course, there are a few scattered. Let's see, there's one in Alaska. And there's one in Arizona or New Mexico, Native American women who are in Congress. It's been very recent, in the last couple years. So obviously they're not on any reservation. They're in Washington. But that's now. That's not back then.
That's not in the 70s. No.
Yeah. So I guess we should just move on, but that's what I think they're doing right now to fit with their quote narrative, which is a little bit false.
It's just
I
flat
guess
out
it's
bad.
really a lot false.
It's
but
flat out bad, though.
the thing is, Jim Chi is going to go back, and we talked about this already. He's going to do that
And now
ceremony.
Joe is back on the reservation as well, and because he has this realization, and he thinks he has tracked down the real Leroy, who the whole time he was that guy near the beginning, the one who hit on Emanuelita, that random guy. Apparently, that's Leroy.
And so this is
And,
all
wow.
this is like there's two twists
Yeah.
in this story. And they all happen at the very end.
The twist is that the German woman killed the original Leroy and then hired this Indian guy to fake being Leroy.
And then the FBI
So
agent she murdered
Yeah,
thought this was the real Leroy
yeah.
and set him up as somebody else, which is Philip Grayson or something,
Yeah.
and got him this trailer.
So, and she did all that so that he could testify at the trial and give false testimony. And I think that's hilarious because it's such a retarded twist, because all you'd have to do is just kill that guy and then he won't testify. Like, we've seen that story over and over,
And The Godfather.
tons of times, like, oh, someone's on trial and then someone gets killed or bribed and they don't testify. Even in real life, like with the Epstein trials and stuff
my
like
God.
that.
They've got there's a guy on YouTube. He's a clinical psychologist. He's been analyzing like these specific things about when Epstein died, and it is definitely a cover-up. That he did get killed, and he probably got killed. I'll say that because it's not legally.
No, he did not get killed.
He did not. I mean, he did not commit suicide.
They covered it up.
They covered it up.
And he did not get killed or suicided. They took him out of there and switched him with the body double who they did kill.
I don't know about that, but
that's real life. And so, but it's just so stupid. Like, all they had to do is just kill Leroy. Like, that's literally all they had to do. And I think it's so disappointing that, like, the whole season, we're looking for this guy, we're looking for this
The
guy.
whole season.
And then the twist is that he was already dead, and they got a fake Leroy who's going to give fake testimony. It's so dumb.
And Joe doesn't figure it out right away.
It's like a twist for the sake of a twist, is what it is.
So what happens is, he goes there because he's going to take him to the trial.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is where the mother, showing her in the episode, and Marco says, I don't care about her.
No, I don't care about the soap opera stuff of like,
well,
I don't care about any of that.
The guy got her mixed up with the grandmother who died 5 months ago. And he doesn't seem to be very upset about his brother being murdered or his grandpa being murdered by the German woman.
Yeah.
And all of those, Joe, and this is how he does in the book, he figures out he's fake. He's been given a fake ID, and he fooled the FBI too. And then the German woman comes up behind him and chloroforms him, and then that guy helps, and now the German woman has him captive, and we still don't know where Billy is.
Yeah, so so what I think is what's going to happen is that she has kept Billy alive because she wants her to be a part of their new family. She wants Joe to be her husband, and she wants Billy to be their pretend daughter.
I don't know about that.
That's just what I think. Because remember, I was already wrong about everything this season because I just can't predict the writers and what kinds of bad storylines they come up with. You know, it's really bad, and I would give this episode an F. It's just I don't even know what to say about the show. It's already sunk into the bottom. But I will say this: it is a lot better than Fallout Season 2 because there's a lot less things going on. And even though the things that are going on are terrible, I'd rather watch this than get motion sickness with Fallout Season 2, watching like 50 different storylines at once. So what do you think, Safi?
Well, I'll give it a C.
Okay.
And because the thing is, I did like the twist in the end.
Okay.
And I like the fact that Joe figured it out, which is how he works throughout all of the books.
That's fine.
And then
I just thought it was a bad twist.
I didn't. The thing with the thing with her running over her grandpa, that was bizarre. And the thing about her being obsessed with Joe. Now they don't show this in the episode. They show scenes from next week.
Yeah.
But they showed a few things from the episode which does prove she's obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And she wants him as a, I don't know, something sexual. A mate. I don't know. But the thing is,
It's so weird.
I did like the surprise in the end, and the fact that he figured it out, that it didn't matter. I just didn't like the weakness. I guess it's like what you call plot convenience about Billy, her taking Billy and just getting away, and there wasn't hardly any struggle.
Well, see, I didn't like anything about the episode. I didn't like a single thing. So at least you like some stuff. So
the thing with Emma, it fits with a modern storyline that she'd want to stay there.
Even if it was modern, I would still say it was bad and it was trash.
Well, it's trash because it to me it doesn't go with culture.
It doesn't go with the characters, and it doesn't go with it feels like forced drama, and it's like they have to do this, but they really don't. They really don't.
I know now, like I mentioned, there's 2 Native American women, one from Alaska and one from either Arizona or New Mexico, who are in Congress now. And that makes sense to me, but for Emma, in the books and everything, I just don't, it doesn't go with it. It's modern.
Yeah.
And here you are, you have they're set in the 70s. They have 70s cars. They have 70s clothes. All this stuff. But it conflicts with this modern stuff.
Yeah.
This modern thinking. And it doesn't... That's what you can't... I don't know. What's the matter with them?
And
Why would they do that? I know that
Yeah.
there's not a whole bunch of Navajo people doing this show, that it's a mixture of different people, but come on, really?
And I will say that I think that it's shaping up to be now where season 3 is better than this.
Well, we'll see.
Because at least in season 3, it was a lot more Joe-oriented, and he was better than this. And they had that I thought there was some stuff near the end of that season that was good, like with the train and with capturing the archaeologist and figuring out the archaeologist was the bad guy. I thought that was a lot better, and it was a lot more consistent. You know, this season has been so all over the place, of like just going all over the place and having all these different focuses that probably didn't even need to be in the season, like the fight between Emanuelita and Jim the whole season and all that stuff. It could have been cut from the season.
Well,
but I don't know. It's hard.
I think
It's really hard.
the thing with the German woman and this obsession, I don't know what that is. That's bizarre, but
It's like,
I do hope-
where did they come up with that, though?
I have no idea, but probably something else, some other show. But anyway, the thing is, the Navajo have this thing where if they're out of balance or out of ho or something, I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. But anyway, that's the ceremony that Jim is going to do, and
Yeah.
I don't think they're allowed to show the real thing,
Yeah.
but maybe they might show a little bit. This isn't like this thing they did with the girls becoming women. This is something that's kind of a sacred ceremony. So, but I do hope they kind of show a little bit of it, or kind of what it might, kind of like a variation, so it wouldn't be exactly, just a little bit of it, because I think that would be interesting. They were talking about a lot of people would be there, which is true. And then they have to give them food. And I mean, it's a very big deal. And so anyway, I hope they do show that it's, and that balance is, it starts with an H-O-Z-H-O or something like that. And anyway, like I said, I give it a C because of the surprise in the end. And then we saw the old Navajo lady. I was glad that we're going to see her, and I imagine we're going to see her in the next episode. And because she is Navajo, obviously. And I mean, that's what this is about. They're on the Navajo reservation. So, I mean, come on. All these other people, they're not even Navajo. Except Emma.
No,
The actress
she's
Emma
gone.
is Navajo.
She's gone.
Now she's gone.
Because she chose to be gone.
So, that's it. So, I hope you like this video.
And comment and subscribe. And then if you'd like to support this channel further to help Safi buy more water. Because she went through like 2.5 in this whole video. And please support and check out our Patreon page, where you can find tons of bonus content, rankings, spoiler-filled movie reviews that are an hour apiece, and my short film, and tons of more fun, exciting content to come. So that's it. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.